My name is Pope Phoenix, and I'm an illustrator.
I heard you're doing a children's book.
Yes, I am.
Why?
Why? Because children's books are cool.
My life's in hot definition.
The name of this book is Charlie and His Imaginary Friend, and it is a story about a friend, like two friends. One is real, one is imaginary. You know, and the things they go through during the course of a day. I'm working with a writer. Her name is Kim Safir, and we sat down, we came up with this idea, and then she kind of ran with it, and then we imagined it as a book, and it came out to what it is now.
I was reading on your Kickstarter page that you noticed something in children's books.
Yeah, that there aren't many. There are some, but it's not a lot of ethnically
Diverse.
That's another word I could use. Diverse books out there. Most of them are about little white children, you know. But there's so many other cultures out there that can be used.
Does your daughter inspire you?
She actually is probably the biggest catalyst to put me to where I am today. Because before I had her, I was a slacker. You know, I really just kind of hung around. Everyone knew I drew stuff, and they said, "Oh, that kid is great." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I just like to draw." I drew, played games, worked. You know, but once I had my daughter, it was like, I gotta kind of do something now. You know, I need to actually make something besides just a check.
What do you think awoke in you to push you forward after your daughter?
She needed food. You can't really do that without money. The Dream Big is actually an illustration of my daughter, and two of her toys running around just using their imagination. And she's jumping around in a Wonder Woman costume. This illustration is like, it's just my way of saying, you know, embrace your childhood for as long as you have it, because once it's gone, you can't go back. On top of that, we don't allow people to think outside the box. You know, we want everyone to stay in a certain frame. Like, you can only do this or you can only do that, you know? And we can't do that. Aim for the moon, because even if you miss, you still end up with the stars. You know, and that's the type of thinking I have, you know. That's the way I do my artwork, you know. I want to be known as a great artist when I finally leave this place. And if I just think about trying to be a good artist in New York, that's not going to do anything. I want to be known worldwide for my work.
About men not wanting or men preferring sons. Because the most prevalent reason is that men know how boys are, and they know how they were, and they don't want to have to shoot a little boy. This is what somebody told me on Twitter yesterday.
I can see how that is. I can see how that is.
So you, as someone who has a daughter, how do you feel about that?
You know, before she was born, I always said that, you know, I wanted a daughter, simply because, like, I wanted to make sure she understood how to maneuver through the world, you know. And now that I have a daughter, I wish I had a boy. No. But it would be a lot easier, you know, because there's a lot of things I don't understand. Because I don't understand women as a whole, you know. I have my own concepts of what they are and how they think, you know, but each one is different. Even my daughter, she thinks differently than her mother and my mother, you know, so.
Well, she's an individual.
Exactly. So, but at the same time,
it's your fault, actually, because you're the artist here, and you told her to dream big. So I don't know what you're complaining about.
I'm not mad at her. You know, I'm glad that she's taking her own interest in the things that she wants. You know.
The biggest thing I say is that men don't want the sins of their past life to come and haunt them through their daughter. True. Meaning, if they were a scumbag in their past life, they don't want that to be shown through the men that their daughter interacts with.
Yeah.
Because they admit to hurting women or being sleazy to women. We're not going to get into that, but being sleazy to women, and they don't want that on their daughter.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants anything bad to happen to their kid, you know? But in terms of sins, like, I mean, I have my fair share, but it's nothing really crazy.
But you know what is interesting to me? Men don't care about women issues unless it affects them personally, because it's usually, you know, we can have a debate about whatever topic, but then when you turn it around and say, what if it was your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your aunt, then they understand.
Yeah, because it's realistic to them. Even in relationships, they'll be messing with somebody and like they're hanging out all the time. They're dating, they're going out, chilling, 24/7, 7 days a week, right? And then, but if you ask them, like, yo, is that your girlfriend? That's your boyfriend? Nah, that's not that. Because they don't want to admit that it's real, because then they have to start acting different. You know, they have to start taking responsibility for the actions they do. And that's the same thing that you're saying. It's like they don't want, like, they have opinions on stuff, but then when it reflects them, then they have to think back, well, how does...
Then they actually have to take action.
Yeah, it becomes real to them. It's like, oh, all right, well, then that's not really that good. You know, like the whole debate about the contraception and, like, the Senate having a meeting with no women in it, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't, the problem doesn't correlate with the solution. Tell the Truth is the way we pitch it is the black male version of The View. You know, and it's basically 4 30-something guys sitting around discussing life, love, and relationships, music, movies, and pop culture. You know, we talk about everything from what's coming out in the movie theaters this summer to how to date like an adult, you know? And we also...
And how do you date like an adult?
My pure opinion of that is to be honest about what you want, what you expect, and what you're willing to do to get it. You know, I think we play so many games and we date like we're still in high school. You know, if you want something or you like someone, say you like them. Like, can we go out? Can we hang out? You know?
And what do you think about this new Steve Harvey movie, Think Like a Man? What is it?
Act like a woman, act like a lady, think like a man.
Act like something.
The movie's
do something else. Too many instructions.
Well, I don't dance to any song that tell me what to do, so I don't read any books that tell me what to do either. Nah, it's I think it's cool. Like, I haven't seen the movie. I probably won't see it until some woman drags me to go see it. But I think it's, from what I've heard about it, it's supposed to be like an open conversation about how men really think, you know, and it gives women insight to why men do the things that they do, which is good because we need that, and that's some of the stuff that we do on Tell the Truth. You know, when we talk about relationships, we talk about it like it's our honest opinions. It's not us sugarcoating it. That's why we don't have women in those podcasts when we're talking relationships, so we don't like put our girl voice on, you know.
Woman voice on?
Our broad voice.
Dame voice. Now, I pointed out that there's a multitude of advice, relationship advice, books, tapes, you name it, targeted at women.
Yeah.
You don't see the reverse. You don't see these things targeted at men.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because women care, and most men don't. You know.
They don't care about.
They don't care about what other people think of how they date, and when they do, they ask their friend. You know?
Which is always the wrong thing.
It's even worse because usually you hang out with people who have similar opinions on you when you do the things that you do. Because if you were doing something extra, then they don't want to be around you because then they feel uncomfortable because you're doing something they don't respect. So they hang out with people who do the same things they do. Know exactly what you want, and if you feel a guy isn't giving that to you, walk away. Like, I think too many times, and I say this for men too, is that we find ourselves in situations where we think we can either change somebody, or if we hang out long enough, they will mold into the thing or the ideal that we want them, you know? But that's not true. It's just gonna it's gonna get stronger or it's gonna get weaker, you know? So find out exactly what it is that you want. If you're gonna have an open relationship, like, know that and say that, and then stick with it. Like, stick your guns. Like, if you're like, I'm not gonna date anybody who has kids, and you meet somebody that's great, and you feel that way, don't date somebody who has kids, you know? It's just like, know what you want. And I think too many people...
And be honest about it.
Yeah.
And communicate it.
Honesty is so important, and I don't think we're all afraid to be honest because we're not sure what the other person's gonna react to. And we can't... My thing is this, when it comes to honesty, you can't worry about the other person's reaction. You know, you're giving them raw information. How they take it is how they take it. That's why I say never apologize for your feelings. You know, feelings is something that's raw. It's something that comes from the inside. It's something that you really don't control. You just do. You don't like, you know what? I'm gonna seek out that woman and I'm gonna start to love her. No, you love her for whatever reason it is. And once that you hit that point, it's like, all right, I'm here now. I gotta just deal with this emotion. And that's the same thing. Like, I don't want to go out with you tonight. Why not? Because I just don't feel like it. It's gonna hurt their feelings, or they may get upset or whatever, but in the long run, they'll respect you.
I don't need no intermission. My life's in high definition.